Hi, and welcome to class. My name is Claire Thomas, and today's class will be a little bit different. Today we're going to be standing and working on standing poses. So we're going to energize ourselves, get some energy from the ground, and use it as we're standing. Now, as you see, I do have a chair here, so most, if not all, of these poses can be modified where you can be seated. So if that makes more sense for you, then you've got your chair here, and I'll mention when we can use the chair. I might use the chair at a pose in the end. But if you're ever in a position where you want to do some strengthening in your legs and some stretching and opening in your hips and side body, but it's easier or more accessible for you to be standing instead of seated, well, here you go. So today we're going to start standing in Tadasana or mountain pose. And you have an option to start seated, long straight spine, both feet planted on the ground, or we're going to be standing. Now this pose is not just a throwaway pose or it is not, we're standing here. Okay, so we're going to think about this pose. So first of all, we've got feet are hip width apart, really rooting down into the earth here. We're starting there with a strong foundation, all four corners of your feet pressing down. And we've got a gentle bend in our knees. When we bend our knees, we have more stability. It helps with our balance, and it's good for our joints. Okay, then we're gonna practice, we're gonna tuck in the pelvis here, tailbone just dropping straight down. So some of us have different tilts naturally in our pelvis, so we're gonna engage our core here and really just try to come to this neutral positioning. Lengthen through your side body, and then we're gonna lengthen our spine here to try to find space between your vertebrae. But then drop your shoulders away from your ears. So we've talked about that before, but we want to find this balance of lengthening and softening. You can bring your hands to heart center here. And you might close your eyes. You might find that turns this shape into quite a balance challenge. So another option is just to lower your gaze and relax your eyes. Because once we've found our shape, we're going to turn our attention to our breath. Notice your breath today, its natural rhythm. Notice how you feel. Do you feel strong in your stance, or do you feel a little wobbly? There's no wrong answer. Just get curious about how you're experiencing your body today. It's gonna bug me. A few more breaths here. See if you can find somewhere to soften. Again, maybe relaxing your shoulders, unclench your jaw. Relax that space between your eyes. And then we'll bring our hands down to our side. We're going to take 3 big breaths. I like to call them shrugging breaths, because what we're going to do is on an inhale through our nose, we're going to draw our air and fill up our lungs and bring our shoulders to our ears here, kind of crunching like tension if you're really mad. And then on an exhale, you're going to powerfully expel your air out as your hands come back towards your hips. So let's try that now. We're going to do 3 in a row, and you do it loud and proud here. Don't worry about how you look or sound. Worry about how you feel. All right, let's start. Big breath in through the nose. Exhale it out. Nice, again. One more time, let's do it. Great job. All right, now we can give ourselves a little bit of movement here. Whatever wiggles feel good because we were standing still for a while. And then we'll ground our feet back down and we're going to move into some side bends. And if you've taken class with me before, you know a lot of times we do this seated. So now we're just going to do it standing, a little bit different. So remember, we're going to keep our bottom half rooting down equally into the earth. And we're going to really focus on lengthening through our side body. So let's take a big breath in, sweep your arms up to the sky, and then exhale. I'm going to drop my right hand to my side, left hand reach up and over. And this first one will stay for a few breaths. And if it feels better for you to grab your right hand for left wrist and give it a little tug, you can do that. But I like this variation. Big breath in, both hands come up, exhale, opposite side. So my right hand is reaching up and over my head. My right foot is pressing down. Inhale. Exhale. Take a side bend. On your inhale, come back up. Exhale, other side. Move through a few of these now at your own pace, following your breath. Checking in to make sure your feet are rooting down. You've got that bend in your knees. Your face, your jaw relaxed. All these little ways we can check in to keep us paying attention to what's going on in the moment, that mindfulness. We'll do one more each side, and then we'll meet back at the center. Now from here, we're going to come into chair pose. So I'm going to keep my feet where they're at, about hips width. You have the option to walk your feet in a little bit closer together. I'm going to come to the side here. And what we're going to do is we're going to act like we're sitting down in a chair. Okay, maybe not too bad. Maybe you sink a little bit lower here. You really want to engage your core here. Maybe your arms lift up. Now, our feet, 4 corners of our feet are pressing into the earth. Now, imagine your inner ankles rotating in towards the back of the room. Did you feel your quads engage when you did that? And if you find that you're reaching forward like this, can you draw your shoulder blades together and try to find an opening in your front body, in your chest? And maybe you sink an inch deeper. Feeling some heat generating in your muscles in your legs. Then we'll come to standing here, maybe a slight back bend, feel some relief. Inhale, arms to the sky. Exhale, we're going to take your right hand, sweep it down past your hip. We're going to come into this twist to the right, the standing twist. So I'm going to try to keep my hips facing the front of my mat. Right hand reaching behind me, fingers spread wide. Maybe your gaze goes towards your right hand. And then an inhale, arm swoops back up. Exhale, take that twist the other way. So again, left hip is going to be, you're going to be directing it forward as you're reaching your left hand back. And energize your fingertips here. Inhale back to center, and let's sit down in chair for 3 breaths. One more breath. Good job. We'll stand up to release. And then our next exhale, that arm will sweep back for a twist. Inhale takes us to center. And exhale, we'll twist the other way. We'll come back to center and let's sit in our chair one more time. Maybe you can sink an inch deeper here. See if you can relax your jaw. See if you can lift your toes off the mat here. Keep breathing. One more breath. And stand up. Ooh, maybe your arms are tired. That's okay. Maybe they need to rest for a moment and then you come back. We'll get relief in just a second here because we'll bring our arms to the center one more time. And bring our hands to heart center here. We say Anjali Mudra. Really press your fingers together here. Feel that broadening in your collarbone. And you can press your thumbs in towards your chest. Make that connection with your heart. Sometimes you hear that we say we're putting our hands at heart center here. So it can be a reminder, hey, heart's beating. I'm grateful I'm alive. Just another breath or two here as we shift from movement to stillness. Now we're going to step into Warrior Two. If you're standing at the front of your mat, your right foot can stay where it's at. Your left foot, you'll pick up and place behind you. And my left foot is facing the long edge of my mat. Or maybe your toes track a bit more like 45-degree angles. Find what works for your hips. We want to feel like our hips are opening here, but our bodies are all so different, and that's amazing. That just means you find what works for you. I'm sinking my right knee here. And in general, we usually cue to keep your knee over your ankle because some people do have knee issues, previous injuries. It's a common thing we see in yoga class. But again, this is your practice. So you're going to decide how deep you land with your legs here. And then arms will come out to this T. Draw your shoulder blades back here. See that? My arms are here. And then draw your shoulder blades back. And then from here, we're going to flip your front palm and raise it up over your head, similar to what we saw with our side bends. My legs stayed where they were. Your left hand can slide down your back leg, but don't let it land on your knee here. We don't want to put that lateral pressure on our knee. Exhale, Warrior Two. Inhale, Peaceful Warrior. Exhale, Warrior Two. Good. Let's flow between these movements. Our inhales to reverse, our exhales, and you might notice again that heat building in your legs. If you need a break or come out of it, always an option, but when you're ready, or even after just a breath or two, come back. Now your next exhale, let's straighten that front leg. Arms are at this T, palms face the front, and then we're going to come into Trikonasana, or triangle. So we want to maintain length in both our side body here. So you're actually going to reach forward so you can't reach forward anymore. Then drop that right hand towards your ankle as your left hand reaches up. This is a great time for a block. I like to place my block on the outside of my right foot. And then you can push into that block to help twist yourself open. Imagine a little bit of a bend, a micro bend in your back knee, and then imagine peeling that left hip open to the sky. And you can see why this pose is so named. There's a lot of angles going on here. You're drawing a lot of triangles here. Doing great. One more breath here. Relax your neck. Gaze might be up or neutral neck. And you're going to press into your feet. Lift your torso. All 10 toes face the long edge of your mat. We're going to come into a wide-legged forward fold. So breathe in. Reach your arms up. Gaze can go up. And then exhale. Hinge at your hips. Let your head hang towards the floor. Maybe you've got your block still handy. It feels good to have your hands resting on your block. Well, it depends. on the space we have in our low back, how tight the back of our legs are. Just hang here for a few breaths. This is an example of an inversion, since our head is below our hearts. And you can be taking a fold if you decided to take a seat in your chair. You can always be seated in the chair and fold forward. Then we're going to place our right hand in between our legs, maybe a block, maybe the floor. Spin that left arm open. Continue to breathe. Then left hand will come down, right hand will spin open. I'm trying to keep both my legs relatively straight. You might find that you can get a deeper expression if you have a little bend in your left leg. We'll come back and we'll hang. Option to interlace your fingers and place them at the base of your skull. Just let your elbows hang towards the ground. We're not pulling or forcing here. You might get a nice stretch in the back of your neck. And then hands come to hips, engage your core, rise up. Let's do those poses on the other side. I'm going to turn my left toes towards the back of my mat. My right toes can stay where they are, facing the long ways. And then let's check in from the ground up. So we want to feel our feet really pressing into the earth. Focus on pressing into the knife edge of your right foot here, but also pressing down with your left foot. Feeling that opening in your hips, so maybe you're drawing your left knee towards the left side of your mat. You decide how deep you're going to take it. You do want some sensation here. Only you know what your level is from uncomfortable to pain. So we're not going to sit in pain. Uncomfortable? Okay. Lengthen through that side body. Arms can come out. This is also an excellent pose to take in the chair. I will have a full chair class available in the near future. We walk you through how to do it. And then on an inhale, we'll flip that front palm and take that arm up and over the head. We call this reverse warrior, sometimes peaceful warrior. Exhale, back to warrior two. And then we'll start to move between the two. So your inhales, you reach up and over. Exhales, land back in warrior two. A few more. You might really be noticing the fire that you're creating in your legs here. This time on an exhale, we'll straighten that front leg. Whew. We'll come into that Tadasana. So we're going to reach till we can't reach anymore. And drop that left hand. Maybe you can grab your block again here. This is an example where a block does provide some support. It's bringing my mat closer to me. But it's also helping me to get deeper into the pose because then I can leverage that block and get a better twist. So blocks can be used to also help you strengthen your practice, get deeper into poses, supporting us in many ways. Two more breaths here. See if you can, again, gentle bend in that back knee, peel that right hip open. Then we'll rise up. We'll take one more wide-legged forward fold. This time you have an option for a bind. So you can either clasp your hands behind your back, or if you've got a towel, or anything, I'm grabbing a shirt, one that you can just grip on two sides here. Come back to this wide stance. We'll take a breath in. We'll squeeze our shoulder blades together. And as we exhale, we're going to lead with our chest as we lower down. Then you can just let your arms fall as far forward as they will. And it just depends on so many things. It doesn't matter how far they go. You just want some sensation across your delts, especially your anterior delts. Might be having some sensation in your hamstrings. Just notice where you're feeling it. And if at any point you need to drop that bind, freedom to do so. Two more breaths. We'll rise back up. Now we're going to stretch a little more for our side of our leg, hip, and side body. So we're going to find the wall. Okay? And the first thing you're going to do, so my right hand is on the wall, or maybe a window sill here or a door frame. Something where your hand can actually grip onto might be helpful. But if all you have is just a flat wall, that should work. I'm standing. Left foot, which is that outside foot, is going to cross over my right. That's step one. Step two is going to be to reach my left arm up and over, and I'm going to try to land above where my right hand is. Then from here, so this is why I say it might be good to have a grip on something, but again, not necessary. I'm going to start to press my left hip away from the wall. So you might have more weight in your right foot here, right, since your left is crossed over. And you might explore, maybe you lower your hands further down the wall. Then you can lean your hip out more. You also have the option to just take this standing without a wall. So if your left foot is crossed over your right, your left arm will just come up and over like this. I like to use the wall because if you can imagine, I'm holding onto the wall. You can really lean that hip out. But okay to take it like this too. Continue to breathe here. Really reach with your fingertips if you're not up against the wall. You might find yourself wiggling a little bit and saying, oh, I'm just standing here, but hey, your legs are crossed. Your head is not in its normal orientation. I'm assuming you don't take this shape many times a day. I don't know though. 2 more breaths here. And then whether you use the wall or not, we'll come back to this Tadasana. And let's just do some neck circles here. One way and the other. Let your jaw hang open. And then we'll take that on the other side. So, again, set up with no wall. Left foot is my base foot. Right leg's going to cross up and over. Right arm is going to sweep up and over. So we did a class a few weeks ago where we did a banana pose, which is similar to this shape, but we were prone or laying on the floor. We're just adding in that extra, hey, now we're standing up. And maybe you took that with the wall, so that right foot was the outside foot, it crossed over, right arm up and over. I'm just kind of gripping onto this windowsill here. And you can really lean that right hip out. Also feeling that stretch. Oh, that space you're creating between your ribs. Up into your shoulder. Notice where you're feeling sensation. few more breaths here. Just stay tuned in. And we'll slowly find our way back to standing. And this time, let's do some shoulder rolls. So inhale your shoulders up, kind of like those big breaths we did in the beginning. And then exhale, I'm going to roll my shoulders back. It's okay if you start the other direction because we'll switch. And take it the other way. Lovely. One big breath in. Hands to heart center. So now we're going to come into our last little meditation here. So you can take this standing. And again, eyes closed, you're going to be calling in some of your muscles there to help you with balance. If you would like to keep your eyes open, you just take your gaze towards the floor, but don't try to look at anything. Like it's the opposite of focusing. You just relax your eyes as if you could see everything. Or you got this chair here. We'll just come to seated in this chair. Hopefully it's a chair where both your feet can touch the ground. Mine's getting a little close, but it's there. If you wanted to take a more traditional Savasana, where you're laying on the floor, you have the freedom to do that. We're going to take these last few minutes. First, get intentional with our body. So whatever shape that we're in, we want our feet, if we're seated or standing, we want our feet planted on the floor firmly. Whatever shape we're in, we want to feel like our spine is long, shoulders and face relax. You can, again, close your eyes unless you're standing. Do what's best for you. Relax your fingers and bring your attention to your breath. Gently start to bring your awareness back to the outside world, to your environment. If your eyes were closed, you can keep them closed or open them. You might gently move your fingers and your toes. Find any little gentle movement, a little neck sway, mini shoulder roll. If you are laying down, you can roll to your side now. And then press up to an easy seated pose. If you were standing or seated, you can stay where you are. Bring your hands to heart center. Let's take one great big breath together. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Thank you so much for joining me today for this mostly standing flow. I hope you got something great out of it. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. And that includes if you have any recommendations or things that you'd like more videos of in the future. I'm all ears. So again, I'm Claire, and thanks for joining me. Be well.